It's about 200 grams. So again, a very gentle engagement. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, pause, pause. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, pause, pause. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, pause, pause. It hasn't got to be so exact. That gives you an approximation. And that is enough for you to see that although it's very difficult to observe my hand moving, but there is a credible and replicable movement of the indicator on the scales that reflects the degree of pressure. So it is a reality. You can't see my hand moving, but something is happening. And if you are the recipient, you're going to feel that, and it's going to feel very good. I'm going to demonstrate the 3 basic quintessential exercises to enhance the strength and capacity of the diaphragm. First of all, for these particular exercises, you need a soft, fluffy face cloth or washcloth. Needs to be quite fluffy, and for the very first position, it's going to be between the floating ribs at the bottom of the sternum here. So you trace down the sternum. There's a little flap of cartilage at the bottom of it, which sometimes is quite prominent. You want to be just off that where you place your towel. And here you find the triangle between the floating ribs. So now, in order to fit your face cloth nicely between the rib cage, you're going to be gently rolling air into your little towel here. So there's plenty of air in it, so it's soft. You don't want a hard, inflexible instrument to make the pressures. You place the corner of it at the bottom of the sternum, just below that little flap of cartilage. So it fits snugly in between the floating ribs. Your hand needs to be very soft, and you're going to actually turn the towel away from your working hand. This is very simply, if you have it facing your working hand, what may well happen is your hand's going to slip down, and you'll be working somewhere down in the abdominal space as opposed to exactly where we need it to be. This is working so that the pressures will be behind the diaphragm, where the psoas muscles come up and melt into the back of the diaphragm here. So to do the exercise gently, remember it's got to penetrate the superficial muscle without causing them to spasm. You're working on fluid, so you're not trying to find structures. You're trying to get fluid to move in a wave-like way. So you need a very, very, very soft hand. And you're going to control your soft hand, which is now a platform, from your elbow here. So that's where you're going to calibrate the movement. So your hand just lifts slightly off the towel and going to go down to a count of 6. Then you're going to come up to a count of 6, and you're going to pause to a count of 3. So you're going to go very, very gently down, and your count hasn't got to be 1, 2, 3 in a staggered sort of way. It's a kind of drawl, because it's representing the way we breathe. And that's a gradual, soft sound, not a staggered movement. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, pause, pause. So just let me explain that. First of all, when you're descending, as your hand engages the towel, it has to be very, very slow, gentle, soft movement. You're not immediately putting the weight of your hand on the towel, looking for some sort of structure to push against. You're trying to get used to moving fluid, right? So very gentle engagement. The person lying down can feel the sensation as soon as that engagement takes place, which is why it's very good if you're acting as a therapist. You need, in fact, to keep changing around so you're receiving as well as delivering the therapy. And if you're delivering the therapy to yourself, then you have the opportunity to switch between being the receiver and the deliverer. So you would be delivering the therapy yourself with your own hands when lying down. Very similar, again, looking at using your elbow as the calibrator. So here we go. Gentle engagement. Count down slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when you get to the bottom of the descent, you're going to turn around and come up immediately. You don't want to block that wave of fluid from returning back. It's like when you put your hand, say, on a water lily leaf, push it just below the surface of the water. And then as you release the pressure, the water comes back up. It lifts up. Because it's not, normally speaking, compressible. You're creating a wave, right? So down, very gentle encounter, slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then pause, pause, pause. So why the pause? The pause is so that all the little blood vessels can open out. And what is happening as they open out, they've been compressed. So now with the decompression, the backlog of fluid is moving forward more powerfully. So you're creating a pulse, which causes the blood to spin nicely through the blood vessels and nourish the diaphragm. Once more, gentle encounter, slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, pause, pause. And down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, pause, pause. So you're going to be repeating that for approximately 5 minutes. Then you may want to pause for a moment longer, maybe a minute or two, whatever is comfortable, because you're pulling blood supply from other areas of your body to the diaphragm. So gradually, as your diaphragm gets stronger and the blood circulation becomes more responsive, and this is exactly what a young infant is doing when it's, through its own movement and breath, nourishing its own diaphragm. Very, very, very tiny, delicate movements that the baby is making. It works on itself and it pauses and rests when it feels in need of a little refreshment. So you can work that out for yourself. And then you would go on and switch to another exercise. So the second exercise that we're looking at is going to be on both sides of the floating ribs. So now you're thinking, how do I get through bone? Well, in fact, there are spaces between the ribs. It's not a solid sheet of bone. Again, you don't want to end up pushing against the rib cage or destabilizing the rib cage. It has to be, in a sense, even more gentle in order to get that effect. And the soft, fluffy flannel is a great help. So you're going to, or washcloth, or whatever you call it, fold it again so that you get nice accentuated softness here. It is possible later on simply to use your bare hands, but it's quite difficult immediately just using your hands because you're likely to consider your hands to be hard and a bit bony perhaps, and to translate the hand movement into a movement which is so soft, it's very, very useful and valuable to practice first with a soft little towel here. So now we're placing it across the triangle just below the bottom of that little flap of cartilage at the bottom of the sternum here. And your hands are going on both sides of your floating ribs. Same procedure, both hands lifted a little way above the flannel, gentle, soft engagement, and a very tender little hug here. So here we go. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, you can feel in both elbows that little calibration as your elbow begins to extend a little bit and retract a little bit. And when you're positioning yourself to give someone else these exercises, it's very helpful if your elbow is always a little bit higher than your wrist to get that easy leverage here. Otherwise, it's going to be much more difficult, and you don't want to try to control by stiffening up your hand. At all costs, you need to keep your hands very soft. And that will be easier as you practice more, because clearly if you're trying to learn something new, the tendency is to stiffen up, and we want the reverse. So here we go again, both hands synchronized, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause, 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 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause, pause, pause. And the pause, you are hovering just above the towel. You don't have to take your hands off a long way. You don't want to have a possible jerky movement while you re-engage, but they are just off. So that means that they're not restricting the breath of the person who is receiving the therapy. So of the last of these really fundamental, basic, quintessential exercises, which we always start with, is to alternate your hands. And this really copies the way blood is distributed as the baby twists and turns, and indeed as we twist and turn. The useful thing is that the diaphragm is in the middle of your body, so it's receiving this gentle exercise all the time as we move. So now both hands are hovering, one hand is going down, and as it descends to the bottom, then the other hand is picking up, so they're crossing each other. It's not a question of going up and down on one side and up and down on the other side. And for this exercise, there is no need to pause, but we do need a slight hesitation to maintain a synchrony, and also to make quite certain you don't go too fast. Because ideally these exercises should reflect what the body is used to and likes and enjoys and finds preferable. If you go too fast, the tendency is that the person receiving the exercises, which may even be yourself, is going to feel slightly anxious. What is happening? Why are we going fast? And we want it very calming and relaxing. So here we go. Both hands hovering, one hand going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other one picks up. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, you can go on for 5 minutes. You can mix these 3 exercises together. It's ideal if you're delivering therapy to yourself or someone else, is that the therapy overall should be half an hour in the day. You can do more, but half an hour is going to really help to transform your diaphragm and transform your life.